If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Kristen Welker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Second assassination attempt. So let's get this straight. All right, hold on. Let's just lay the groundwork here. You're telling me that some guy that's not even from Florida, nowhere near the area, he camps out for 12 hours in a bush with a gun, even has some food, he's got a GoPro. We're talking about a crazy nut job. A Ukraine enthusiast, so enthusiastic, he went over there. This guy spent time in Ukraine. Also, this guy is arrested for weapons of mass destruction a few years back. What does that mean? Weapons of mass destruction. And this guy isn't like a Thomas Matthew Crooks, by the way. No. This guy, he's all over social media. He's been on an interview with Newsweek. He did an interview with, where was it? I believe the New York Times. He was even seen on a famous streamer, Gideon. He's from the UK, but he's famous all over the world. He's a live streamer on YouTube. One of, he's friends with like the KSI, Logan Paul group, those types of guys. This guy, Ryan Routh, was even on his stream, not purposely, accidentally. I'll show you the clips. Guys, and then
if you had to be stuck in
here's what they'll tell us, right? The left-wing media will say, oh, well, this is a crazy guy. They won't call him a Democrat, even though he donated twice to Act Blue in 2020. They won't call him a Democrat. But what they'll say is, oh, well, the guy, he kind of just got lucky sitting out there. Thank God he didn't shoot former President Trump. But yeah, that's what they'll say. Lucky. How could two individuals get that lucky, though, within 60 days? How does two get that lucky in that short amount of time? Here's what I think. I think the Secret Service has a mole. I think there's somebody ratting out information. There's got to be some, and we've got clips and some posts, some evidence to back up that theory. But I don't see what else could be possible. I don't know. So welcome in. Welcome into Live with Chris's World. This program airing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on X and on Rumble. Believe it or not, guys, so recently I had I had some people ask me, hey, can we get the show back on YouTube? So I threw it up on YouTube as well. We're going to start posting to YouTube more. I hate those communist bastards just as much as the next guy. They'll probably take me off YouTube for saying that alone. So if you want to support it. But love you guys on Rumble and on X. Thank you very much for being here with me this evening. Let's check over in the live chats. We've got E. Kirk, Lisa, Pops McGroin, B. Newton in there. We got all you guys in there. McGroin Nation, the McGroin Army showing up as always, and I really appreciate you guys being here. So we're gonna get into this show, but what we're gonna talk about in large part tonight, just to give you the rundown. Obviously, we're going to discuss this second assassination attempt. They're saying it's not an assassination attempt. They've even charged this guy, but they didn't charge him with an assassination attempt. They should. We'll talk about that. But we're going to go through not the whole thing. We obviously know the initial story, but we've got the body cam footage. We'll talk about that a little bit. Who is this guy? What are some of his posts? Where has he donated? We've got all of it. Of course, the charges. Of course, how the corrupt media has covered this. You guys won't believe. You're not going to believe some of the left-wing media and how they framed this whole thing. And I'm sure most of you have seen it as if, let's just blame Trump for his own assassination attempt. Oh, his rhetoric caused it. But the intro clip that you just saw proves otherwise. Left-wing rhetoric is what's dangerous. The left will always point the finger at us and blame us or accuse us of what they're doing. That's it. Florida plans to investigate this assassination attempt separately, like aside from any federal entity. Good. And Ron DeSantis, thank you. I live in Florida. I would like the state of Florida to do its own investigation. I think that's a good thing. I'd like to get your thoughts on that in the chat, guys. What do you think? Do you think that Florida will end up getting to results quicker than the Secret Service, the FBI, whoever's going to investigate this matter? Will the state of Florida produce evidence or results quicker than a federal entity? Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, and then we've got some stuff on the polls. Should we believe these polls or not? There's a pollster who's saying, look, the winner of Pennsylvania is going to win the whole thing. I don't know how to necessarily approach the polls. I'll go to the chat for that and see what you guys think. Maybe you can help me make up my mind on if I want to believe these polls or not. Here's where I go with the polls, and then I'll start this show up. But with the polls, I don't know anybody who's been polled. I don't. Do you? I myself have not been polled. And the polls, which, were grossly inaccurate in 2016, as we remember. But at the end of the day, you look online and the millions of people voting in polls online, and you see different results than what legacy media tells you. So who are we to believe? You look at the betting lines, you see different results than what legacy media is telling you. I think legacy media and their fake fucking polling has been exposed here in 2024. And it will continue to be exposed because of shows like this and shows like many patriots around the country. So we're going to get into this show tonight here on Monday, September 16th. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in to Live with Chris's World.
Keep walking!
Keep that long. Keep on
So that is the arrest of the alleged gunman, Ryan Routh, who apparently spent 12 hours in a bush, camped out. just hoping to get lucky that Donald Trump would be golfing that day. Sure. Yeah, that's believable. Like the Secret Service wouldn't have seen him beforehand. Are they not sweeping the golf course beforehand? Why aren't they doing a sweep of the golf course beforehand? You heard, if you watched Dan Bongino this morning, he talked about a situation where Barack Obama was golfing and there was one particular hole close to a street and they shut down the street for X amount of time so they could play the hole. Why aren't we doing stuff like that for Donald Trump when the threat level is as high as it is against Donald Trump? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're going to cover that a little bit in more detail. But so this is what we get. This is the body cam footage. Now, obviously, we know the whole incident. They've been a couple of holes. They were a couple of holes in front of Donald Trump. So Donald Trump's on hole, I don't know, just for the sake of the conversation, I don't know, hole 3. So they're up in hole 4, 5, and 6 doing a sweep quickly before Donald Trump gets there. And one of the agents saw the rifle sticking out of the bushes and then opened fire on the guy. And they end up getting, the guy ends up fleeing, dropping the weapon, his GoPro, anything else that he had, gets into a vehicle, drives. He goes into another county, and then the police officers arrest him, as you see right here. So, and I know you know that part of the story. So let's get into a little bit more of the details. So this was kind of the first thing that we got from any authorities was this video. This is what went around first. So we're going to play a little bit of this. I'll play about a minute of this. And then there's this is a 2-part video. I'm going to play the first minute.
Right, 1:30 this afternoon. Call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Because we're in constant contact with them all the time, we were notified of that, and we had units here that immediately sealed off the area. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. So we had that information. Our real-time crime center put it out to the license plate readers. And we were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. We got a hold of Martin County Sheriff's Office, alerted them, and they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes that jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is an AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had.
So you get they're praising the agents. And of course, when we talk about corruption in the Secret Service or the FBI, most times it's not going to be the field agents. Those men and women are risking their lives for the protectee. We know that it comes from above, the corruption. So I want to head over to the chat real quick on Rumble. And if you guys want to be a part of the chat, if you're watching on X, we do have a live chat on X. It's a little bit harder to navigate. Head on to Rumble. We've got a great group of patriots on Rumble, the McGroin Army, McGroin Nation over here. So let's see. You guys think, yes, Florida could potentially get to the results faster. From Lisa, at least Florida won't sugarcoat it and hide stuff. E. Kirk, hopefully Florida has investigation results quicker than the federal results. Lisa also talking about she doesn't follow the polls, personally thinks they are worthless. So Lisa has another question here. My question is, Secret Service opened fire. How is he still alive? It's a good question, Lisa. It is a good question. So my question, though, is how come when people like the Pope go to town, and don't take it from me, you heard this, and I know many people watch Dan Bongino. I watch him every morning, but you heard it from him this morning as well. He had a great show this morning. If you want information, go watch his show this morning. But he talks about when the Pope goes to town. The Pope isn't the president, but yet the Pope gets an extra level of protection because his threat level is so high. at times like this, 2 assassination attempts against a former president, potentially the next president. When is enough where we get the top level of protection for Donald Trump? And why hasn't he had it already? But now at this point, why isn't he getting Pope level protection right now? It just seems reasonable at this point. Wouldn't you agree? So check this out.
How was this able to happen? And for future reference, is there any obscurity of the golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right. And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the city president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So,
and like, I hear that this, I think he's a sheriff of the Florida town over or county. And I hear he's a good guy. I don't know. I've never heard of him before. This is the first time I've seen him. So don't take my word for it. But again, it wouldn't be his fault, right? This falls back on Secret Service because Secret Service is going to get local PD involved and coordinate that. You know, you saw that breakdown in communication, coordination, and strategy in Butler, Pennsylvania. So we've seen the breakdown. It seems like there's this lackluster attitude in the Secret Service right now. And where it's coming from, I have no idea. You saw them break into that salon. I believe that was in Pennsylvania as well at a Kamala Harris rally. They broke into a salon that was inside the closed off area. So the road was evacuated. All the buildings were evacuated. Nobody was around. Secret Service takes it upon themselves to break and enter into a hair salon, use the bathroom, and they even left the door unlocked when they left. Holy smokes, what's going on in the Secret Service? You had the post stander get caught breastfeeding when she was supposed to be on post. You had that happen like a week after the assassination attempt. Look, Ronald Rowe is the director. You know, he came in after Kimberly Cheadle resigned. This guy needs to be fired. He needs to be fired immediately. It's just unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. All right, let's look a little bit at who is this guy? So, who is Ryan Routh? Who is Ryan Routh? Here's his Facebook. Quickly got scrubbed. Very quickly got scrubbed. Look at this. Scrubbed. Content's unavailable. Hey, let me remind you, and he's from Hawaii, by the way. Hawaii, yeah, and he knew his way around West Palm Beach, Florida pretty well. Enough to camp out for 12 hours, knew exactly where he was. Sure. Spent months in Ukraine. Who knows the relationships that he made in Ukraine? Think about that. The type of level he could potentially have relationships with people that are in high places of leadership in Ukraine. Imagine that ends up coming out. You know what? I'm happy this guy is alive. I'm happy he's alive. We'll get some answers, hopefully. But this is wild. Content's unavailable. Okay. So his Facebook immediately gets scrubbed. Let me remind you, Mark Zuckerberg comes out last week or 2 weeks ago. We had it on the show. Oh, I'm not going to censor information anymore. I'm so sorry. The Biden administration pressured us. They said they pressured us. We had no choice. Yell at the Biden administration, not Meta. That's what Mark Zuckerberg said. Well, they sure. Look, actions speak louder than words. So we see where Mark Zuckerberg and Meta is on the whole censoring information. X, though, here we go. Look at this guy's posts. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these. These are the posts. They're pretty vile and very left-wing, extremely left-wing. And if you want to go through them, I've reposted this very post. So just go through my reposts and you could find it. Yeah. It's not surprising. Now, the liberal media, they're not going to call this out. They're not going to say that a Biden supporter, a Democrat, a left winger was responsible for an assassination attempt on a president. They're not going to say that. But this very much is what it is. Now let's go just a step deeper. So here's a post, and this is coming from Charlie Kirk. Here is the alleged attempted assassin of Donald Trump, of President Trump, Ryan Weasley Routh, speaking to Newsmax, not Newsmax, speaking to Newsweek Romania about why he went to Ukraine to fight in the war. He claims he spent 8 months in the country recruiting foreign fighters to wage war against Russia. Are you reading this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Is that even true? How could we even confirm that? I don't know. Everybody has been saying this. So a guy goes over to Ukraine for 8 months, recruiting people to fight for Ukraine, comes back to America, and then tries to take a shot at Donald Trump, the man who would put an end to the reckless, non-ending money machine that we're calling Ukraine. Just spend, write the check. Imagine every time you went somewhere, you left with $100 billion. Well, that's the life of Zelensky every time he comes to America over the last 700-800 days. So let's watch this video. 30 seconds. Here's the guy. This is the alleged shooter.
The question as far as why I'm here, to me, you know, a lot of the other conflicts are gray, but this conflict is definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook, you know, any movie we've ever watched. This is definitely evil.
All right, two things. I can't even wait. I'm sorry. I can't even wait for the video to end. Two things. One, you guys notice the camera is shaking? Somebody's recording him. Not that it matters, just an observation. This guy has friends. This guy has people he's with. He's not just some loner like Thomas Matthew Crooks. This guy is in the media, making connections. He's appeared in multiple places, been interviewed by multiple journalists, appeared on a live streamer's stream. Not only that, where's his eyes? Let's rewind. He's reading something, right?
The question as far as why I'm here, to me, you know, a lot of the other conflicts.
His eyes are way above the point of the lens of the camera, as if he's reading.
Are gray, but this conflict is.
And look at his pupils. They're going back and forth like he's reading.
Definitely black and white. This is about good versus evil. This is a storybook. You know, any movie we've ever watched. This is definitely evil against good. I mean,
the guy's a fucking fed. Has to be. This is crazy, though. And it isn't completely absurd, actually. What's absurd is that how is nobody else connecting the dots? Now, I know you at home, you're connecting the dots. If you're watching this right now, you've probably already connected those dots. I've connected those dots. Millions of us around the country have connected those dots yesterday through today. Why is the left-wing media covering it up? Well, let's continue. Oh, I mentioned earlier on a side note how this guy was in a popular live streamer's live stream. This is Gideon, the guy in the purple sweatshirt here is Gideon. He's a live streamer from the UK. I guess we would call it the UK is where he's from. Anyway, I don't know if this was in the UK. I'm not sure where this was recorded, but this is 30 seconds. Here's the video.
Well, the Ukrainians have a right to fight back.
I don't do paper, though.
I don't care if you do paper or not. I'm looking for revolutionaries. Whatever people want to take this whole system down.
Bro, I'm a veteran. Like, do you need me?
What kind of veteran are you?
Bro, I served in Newtown.
Well, I think it's better to serve and fight in the powers. fucking over the system.
Bro, give me a Glock and a Hellcat.
Take a look at this.
Bro, but I don't do paper though. I just told
Come
you
on,
that.
dude, then get away. We don't need the people who aren't serious. If you're not serious,
I'm serious, but I don't do paper, bro. You're literally.
The guy is trying to convince Gideon to take a paper about God knows what. Look, I show you that. I don't show you that for no reason. I show you that to make a comparison to Thomas Matthew Crooks. Thomas Matthew Crooks, there wasn't too much about this guy. Pretty much no online presence, 4 encrypted accounts that nobody ever got any information on. This guy, you can find. There's a lot of stuff on this guy. So Gideon and his team, they post this. We are like 90% sure. Gideon, do you remember him? Gideon says, yes, that's crazy. Yeah, that's him. Okay, we're going with it. Yep, it's him. Confirmed. So this is a text group chat from that live streamer that we just watched. And his team confirming, yes, that is the individual in the video. So, and it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. You thought we were done. No, we're not done. We're not done. Okay, let's go to the next example. In 2023, New York Times interview with the alleged Donald Trump assassin, Ryan Routh. This is in 2023, about his plans to recruit Afghan soldiers and illegally transport them to fight in Ukraine. Ryan Routh, a former construction worker from Greensboro, North Carolina, is seeking recruits from among Afghan soldiers who fled the Taliban. Mr. Routh, who spent several months in Ukraine last year, said he planned to move them, in some cases illegally, from Pakistan to Iran to Ukraine, or from Pakistan and Iran to Ukraine. He said dozens expressed interest. Guys, what is going on? Have you guys seen all this evidence, or is this the first time you're seeing it? I'd love to know in the chats. Let me pop over to the Rumble chat for a second here and see what you guys are talking about. So let's see. Mr. Newton says JFK Jr. wife has been best friends with Ivanka, and that's how close they get to Donald Trump. Sounds like Hammer and Bleach bit time. So guys, let me know if you've seen any of this evidence on the internet or on any other shows today. This is crazy stuff. It's just crazy how out there he is. You can find him. It's funny because Thomas Matthew Crooks, we know nothing on him. You get nothing on Crooks, but this Routh guy is out there. You can find a lot on this guy. All right, do we have any more? Yeah, one more. There's one more point that I want to make on this guy in his past. What the hell is this? Am I reading this right? In 2020, this guy was arrested, caught with a weapon of mass destruction. Here's the arrest record. What? Man, he is a class act. Look at all this. Oh my. Arrested, caught in 2002. Caught in 2002 with a weapon of mass destruction. We want some answers on that, please. What does that mean exactly? What does a weapon of mass destruction mean? Where do everyday citizens acquire a weapon of mass destruction? Let me remind you, just 1 year earlier, we invaded another country for weapons of mass destruction. Remember? But yet this guy is walking around with weapons of mass destruction. Baloney. Baloney. He's not an everyday guy. This is a federale. This is a Fed. I'm telling you, it can't not be. They'll tell you otherwise. They'll tell you, and they'll tell you that the Democrat Party is the party of peace, love, and joy. Hope, yeah. No. All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to be back in 60 seconds, and then let's go over the charges. So you'd assume that the alleged assassin, potential assassin, he'd be charged with some pretty serious crimes. And not that the two that he's charged with, not that they're not serious, but you hear them and you're like, that's it? Yeah, we got to address this. And I hope the state of Florida steps in and gets involved. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you in 60 seconds. Look, America has never been as divided as it is right now. So for all my fellow patriots out there looking to make an impact and participate with saving America, boy, do I have a suggestion for you. Go over and check out my good friends at Turning Point Action. You have to see their coalitions. If you're somebody who is passionate about saving this country but don't necessarily know where to begin, this is your go-to spot, and I guarantee you will find a coalition that aligns with who you are and your interests. Look, we all know Turning Point Action does great work, and they're one of the main reasons that the America First movement is as strong as it is. So again, if you're looking for a way to participate, be sure to check out Turning Point Action coalitions and join one today. Come out with anything better.
Right.
She knows
But
that. Go ahead.
This is an example of Democrats making promises that they're never going to keep.
True.
Okay, that's all about lying.
She'll say it, but she'll never do it, is what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just like if you check Hillary Clinton's purse right now, I guarantee you are not going to find a bottle of hot sauce in there.
Well, in Rev, I mean, this is coming from, let me see if I can pull this up quickly. Yeah, here we go, right here. You know, you had Biden and Harris, this administration, planning to crack down on waiter tips. That was in February of last year. So at the end of the day, here's what you have to ask. Kamala Harris, just last week, Karine Jean-Pierre at the press secretary meeting said, you are a huge, pivotal, significant part of this administration. You played a...
You're tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World, only on X.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this. What did we charge this guy, Ryan Routh? The would-be Trump assassin has been charged with possession of a firearm while a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. That's interesting. So they're not going to be able to tell where the gun came from, who it was bought by. Go figure. Is that it, though? That's all they charged this guy with. You know, multiple people came out and said it would be tough to prove. What would be tough to prove? You're telling me, how would this be tough to prove? A man who has vocally expressed hatred for Donald Trump comes out of nowhere into a state where he's not even from, camps out for 12 hours with an AK-47. But that's going to be tough to prove. How is that intent going to be tough to prove? And they said he's a former construction worker. Who knows if he has a job now? Probably not. You can't work. Look, it's tough to get a lot of these state jobs when you're a convicted felon. I know that may not be true for all situations, but look, how is this guy funding himself to go over to Ukraine for 8 months to take these flights? Where's the money coming from? Does nobody ask or wonder? I wonder. And I wonder why we're only charging this cat with possession of a firearm while a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure there's a good reason why, though. So the media, how are they covering this whole thing? See for yourself. How is the media covering this whole thing? Well, the Washington Post says another chance for Trump to frame Democrats as danger has emerged. God forbid there was an attempt on the life of a Democrat leader. Nobody would ever want that. God forbid, though, it would be mainstream news. Think about it like this. If it was a former Democrat president up there in Butler, Pennsylvania, they would have like day 68 of investigating the assassination attempt of X, Y, and Z. That's what they would be doing, right? 100%. Day 70, here we are trying to get... They'd have the whole news desk in the field in Butler, Pennsylvania, and all that. You know the image, the vision that I'm trying to give you here. CNN here, day 84. This is what they would be doing. But no, when it comes to Donald Trump, they don't even word it like it's an assassination attempt. Another chance for Trump to blame or frame Democrats as danger has emerged. Doesn't end there. Look at this. The Inquirer, Cincinnati.com, Trump brings these assassination attempts on himself. Posted today, September 16th, 2024. Are you kidding me? You don't hate the media enough. However much you think you hate them, you don't hate them enough. You don't. This is ridiculous. Imagine being Donald Trump and seeing this. People downplaying an attempt on your life as if you're just nothing. This is the former fucking president. The next president, hopefully. I mean, and then this is interesting too, in regards to the media. MSNBC filming Trump on his golf course moments before this whole thing went down. How did they know? How did they know to be there? Who told them? Remember, CNN hadn't covered the Trump rally until the Butler rally. Is it weird? Left-wing media seems to be there every time. So apparently, MSNBC has some footage of Trump golfing moments before. How did that happen? How did that happen? You see why all signs point to there being a mole in the Secret Service? The decision to golf, by the way, was a last-second decision. They didn't plan on golfing. This wasn't on the schedule. It wasn't put out to the press. Guys, it's call me crazy, but let's stop over into the live chat for a second. I want to make sure that I'm hitting up the live chat to see what you guys are saying. Pops McGroin, sure hope we see the truth. We may never know. Caps locked. Caps locked. How's it going tonight? Pops McGroin, Tick Pickin, MAGA Woman, Free Castle. Hey, Free Castle. How's it going tonight, my friend? All you guys in here, really appreciate it. Generation Mars podcast, the Generation Mars podcast, great show, airs at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday nights. Make sure that you are checking out the Generation Mars podcast with Greg, a great patriot. Really, really love that guy. Awesome show. Really enjoy his show. So this is how the media is choosing to cover the second Donald Trump assassination attempt. But I am not surprised. And I'm sure you're not either. But I'm angry about it. The lack of integrity and truth, the lack of due diligence and transparency. There's none. This is why Rumble and this is why X, these platforms have seen enormous growth, significant growth over the last 24 months. You will continue to see it because of the reasons that we just displayed. Left-wing legacy media can't be trusted in basic day-to-day journalism, like reporting a presidential assassination attempt. And then you want to make a more complex. And then, okay, forget that though. What about covering debates? Can they at least host honest debates? Nope. Can't do that either. We saw that last Tuesday. So these are the reasons, and I know you know this. I'm just getting fired up because I get fired up. But I know you know this. But these are the reasons that our platforms like Rumble and X will continue to thrive. The age of the independent journalist, like myself, if you want to call me that, the age is here. The time is now. So Florida will be, Ron DeSantis comes out and says, Florida will be launching its own investigation. Good. Thank you. Good. We're going to cover that in just a second. I feel like Howie Mandel from Deal or No Deal when I do that. Remember Deal or No Deal back in the day when Howie used to be like, okay, Gabriella, box number 21, case number 21, open that case right after the break. And, damn it. And you would be like, Howie. I'd throw shit at the TV. You remember Deal or No Deal? What a show. I heard they're bringing it back. I'm not too sure. But all right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll return in about a minute and 30 seconds. Do not go anywhere. We have the clips on Ron DeSantis talking about the investigation that Florida will be conducting in regards to this assassination attempt. And it doesn't end there. We've got a lot of other things to talk about as well. So we're gonna take a quick minute and a half. We'll be right back.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says,
What's up, everyone? First and foremost, thank you so much for tuning in to another live episode of Live with Chris's World. And I want to let you all know about a new exciting opportunity that we have for the audience. So if you're a patriot who's looking to get on camera and be on a podcast, well, here at Live with Chris's World, we want to give you that opportunity. So look, at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than having the conversations and talking about the issues. So I am personally extending an invitation to any patriot listening to this right now that wants to come share their thoughts, their takes, their opinion on a political current event on Live with Chris's World. All you got to do is follow me, shoot me a DM, a direct message, and I'll be sure to get back to you.
You're tuned in to Chris's World, a daily podcast covering the controversial topics of today through a conservative, patriotic lens. Tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for Chris's World, only on X.
Where is the suspect now? I know he's behind bars, but where? Well, what we did is we turned him over to the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. So I don't know where he is right now.
Okay. Did he say how did he know that Donald Trump was going to be playing golf? How did he have access to his schedule?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. We are the border county to Palm Beach. You can't get out of their county without coming through ours. But we don't have the intel from the scene there. It's hard for me to imagine how he got within rifle range of President Trump.
Yeah, but where is the suspect now? I know he's behind bars.
I agree. Tick Pickin just in the chat says, Tick Pickin McGroin says, Florida must take control over their own investigation and not pass it over to the feds. MAGA woman just said, I don't think DeSantis is the guy people think he is. I don't have good vibes at all. Just saying. Tick Pickin back on my desktop now. Yeah, the app seems to not work. Like, you can't tag people with the Rumble app. That frustrates me a little bit. MAGA woman saying she doesn't think DeSantis is the guy people think he is. MAGA woman, look, you're not alone when you say that, just so you know. There's a lot of people who share similar thoughts because of the disloyalty that you saw from Ron DeSantis when he decided to throw his hat in the race. So, that is certainly something that a lot of patriots feel passionate about in regards to DeSantis and his lack of loyalty. Now, what I'll say is, I am a resident of Florida. I've been under DeSantis since he's been governor. I think he's done a bang-up job in the state. I did not like the timing, and I didn't like DeSantis running. I thought he should have waited it out. In 2028, if DeSantis never put his hat in a race, I feel like in 2028, he would have been the guy. But now, I don't believe people are as warm and fuzzy about DeSantis as they used to be. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk a little bit about the Florida clip. I'll show you Ron DeSantis in just a second, but I wanted to play this first. This is the former FBI assistant director, I believe. I think his name should pop up here in a second. And he's saying what I'm saying. He's just saying it in a way where you have to read between the lines. There has to be some sort of mole or somebody that has inside information giving it out. I don't see any other way that an illegitimate shooter like Crooks can get up onto that roof and not be seen. And how this guy can sit out here for 12 hours. Oh, he just got lucky? Bullshit. Bullshit. And his plan was, let me tell you something else. This time of the day, rain, like vicious thunderstorms come out of nowhere. Boom. Like next thing you know, it's raining and there was supposed to be no rain. Or it's just 110 fucking degrees. So what? This guy's plan was just to sweat through 12 hours in vicious sun, in vicious heat, high heat. And he was just going to sit there for 12 hours and hope and pray Donald Trump was golfing that day, or potentially just sit through a thunderstorm. Do you see where I'm going with this? No, he probably wasn't there for 12 hours. That's just the bullshit story that we got. So, all right, now let's talk about DeSantis. DeSantis here says that the same agencies prosecuting Trump, DeSantis says that the same agencies prosecuting Trump investigating the assassination attempt, quote, may not be the best thing, unquote, vows a credible truth after state-run investigation. So let's see what he says.
I have not talked to him yet. I did announce yesterday we're going to be doing a state-level investigation. I understand that the feds are involved, but we do believe that there were multiple violations of state law. We also believe that there's a need to make sure that the truth about all this comes out in a way that's credible. I mean, I look at the federal government with all due respect to them. those same agencies that are prosecuting Trump in that jurisdiction are now going to be investigating this. I just think that may not be the best thing for this country. Nevertheless, they have their prerogative, but we have our prerogative. And so we'll be making an announcement further along those lines in the ensuing days. I have not talked to him yet. I did announce.
So, yeah, we want to see this. And who knows, maybe DeSantis can turn that image around and do the right thing. Look, I think Tick Pickens said it. Hopefully Florida doesn't pass off any, what would you call it, investigative responsibilities. But it does sound like, and I'm with you, I hope not either, but it almost does sound like they're completely separate investigations. And who knows, right? When they come out with the final reports, what type of contradicting information we could get from the conclusions of both investigations. That will be interesting. Will there be any conflicting information between the conclusions of both investigations? I'm sure there will be. I'm sure there will be. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to trust the state of Florida's investigation before I trust any other conclusion in regards to the FBI, the Secret Service. If you got three doors, the FBI, the Secret Service, or the state of Florida, which door is most likely to be the truth? Which one? And I'm not saying you should trust state governments either. I'm just asking, with the possibility of three, am I wrong to say, okay, like out of the FBI and Secret Service or the state investigation, I personally am going to trust the state investigation more than the FBI or the Secret Service. Am I off point there? Let me know in the chat, guys. Like, are you with me? Are you trusting the state's conclusion and the report that they end up releasing? I'm sure it'll be. By the way, what sucks about this whole thing is it's like, why do we have to wait 2 years for a conclusion? How come we can't? Because there's no way that the investigation is happening over the course of 700 days, right? They have things finished pretty quickly, I would imagine. Or maybe the Secret Service is just too busy chasing down counterfeit money. Why they still do that, I don't know. That's beyond me as well. All right, let me go ahead. I want to check the chat real quick, see what y'all are saying. Really appreciate everybody. I really appreciate all of you being in the chats. It's really awesome to look over at the chats and see you guys talking there and engaging with one another and the show. It means a lot to me that you show up every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All of you do, and I really, really appreciate your attendance, your participation, and your support. So thank you for being here and engaging with me in the chat. I really appreciate all of you guys. And Tick Pickens says, I agree, Chris. Yes. And MAGA Woman says, Florida. Lisa says, absolutely, Chris, trusting Florida over the feds. So, yeah, we're all on the same page. We're more likely to trust the conclusion that is given by the state of Florida over any federal entity. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So that in a nutshell, that's why this is good. And I kind of wonder, why hasn't the state of Pennsylvania done something? Where's the governor? What's his name? Josh Shapiro, right? That's the guy. Is that the governor of Pennsylvania? Isn't it? It's Josh Shapiro, the potential VP of Kamala Harris before she picked Tampon Tim. Yeah, where's he at? How come they're not doing their own separate investigation? Are they? Maybe I missed it. I don't believe they are. Nuts. I want to play this for you before I want to play this for you to kind of close out this topic, and then we're going to talk about some other things. But remember, the left continuously looks at us and says that MAGA Republicans are dangerous, they're threats to democracy, they're angry people, they're violent people. This is what the left says about us. So I want to play, to close out this topic, I'm going to play you just a minute or two of some content. Here we go.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome
Yeah. All right. You know what? I wasn't going to talk about this story, but I think that I should. This is pretty wild. This post is coming from Colin Rugg. Man, you guys are I think you're going to like this. This is interesting stuff. So a Florida boy was just arrested. He's 11. Yeah, 11. Listen to this. Let me blow this up so you can see it. So Florida boy arrested and, quote, prep walked, thrown in jail after bragging about a kill list and showing off an arsenal of weapons. Florida doesn't mess around. Again, this post coming from Colin Rugg. Quote, every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. We're going to come and get you. We're going to put you out for public embarrassment, says the Volusia County Sheriff Mike Cheatwood. 11-year-old Carlo Kingston Dorelli showed his arsenal to his classmates and threatened violence. Dorelli was charged with a felony for the written threat of a mass shooting. The sheriff also published a video of the boy being led into the jailhouse with handcuffs on. For those little bastards out there who think this is funny, ha, 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 you want to get on social media? You ain't that smart. You're getting caught. Watch this video, guys. This is what we need to do to people who are threatening to do mass shootings or anything like that. This is how you stop it.
You're going to be walking over here to the gate over here, all right? Slow and steady. What you here for today?
Put that foot down. Let me get the other foot. All right, come on in here. Have a seat in the cell. We're going to gather up some paperwork and get things started for you. Do you have any questions? All right.
What we're going to start doing Monday is, since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them. Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to.
All right, sir, careful as you can. You're going to be walking over here to this.
Damn right. Look, if parents aren't going to punish their kids accordingly when they make or if they're not paying attention to their child and they just don't see that their child is making threats for mass casualties online, fine. Parents, you don't want to do anything about it. It's about time the local government step in and say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's put this kid on blast. Yeah, you want to be tough guy, Mr. 11-year-old? You're not. Look, and I don't mean to be, it is what it is, guys. Sorry about it. Do you want to be harsh to children and like in all that? Of course not. Nobody wants, like, what the fuck do you think this is? And I know you don't. I'm just generally saying, like, of course not. That's not what this is about. But this 11-year-old's an evil little shit. Sorry. That's just what it is. There are just some kids that are possessed by demons and Satan gets to them early. This is one of them. Lock his fucking ass up. 11, don't care. Lock him up until he's 18, 19, 20. Lock him up for longer than that. He's lucky he didn't kill somebody. And you know how you prevent future deaths? By dropping the hammer on this kid and scaring the shit out of any potential future shooters who say, I don't want to end up like Carlito or whatever the fuck his name was. So, you've got to use these kids as an example to other kids. Maybe I'm being harsh about it, but I don't care because I'm tired of seeing mass shootings at schools. This is how you fix that. Shame, public humiliation. Yeah, it's rough, is what it is. It's true. Man, but that is a crazy, crazy story. Crazy clip. Crazy, crazy clip. This is a crazy clip, too. You want to, and just kind of to go back into politics, that was off politics for a second. But, I mean, we talk about this left-wing, fake-ass fucking media. And here's a good example of it. You had JD Vance. Let me find this while I kind of explain it to you. JD Vance was on CNN, and he was talking with Dana Bash, whatever you want to call her, and pretty much said, what the hell? You don't give any tough questions. You didn't give any tough questions to Tampon Tim and Kamala Harris when you sat down with them. But when it's me, you're trying to debate me. Let me just show you the clip so I can give you some context.
Dana, would you like to ask me questions and then let me answer them? Or would you like to debate me on these topics? I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the questions. I'm happy to be here to talk about policy, but if you're going to interrupt me every single time that I open my mouth, then why am I even doing this? So please ask a question, and I'd ask you to be polite enough to let me answer it.
Yes.
Dana, would you?
Absolutely nuts. Great response by JD Vance. And back real quick, I just read this comment. Generation Mars says, how was Ralph able to fly on a commercial airline with an extreme felony record, but yet Tulsi Gabbard is on the fucking watch list? Great question, Greg from Generation Mars podcast. Yeah, and it sounds like a good idea there. Yeah, so the chat, all you guys on Rumble are with me. You gotta have the parents. If the parents aren't going to parent, it needs to come from somewhere, because we're not going to allow 11-year-olds to make those types of threats and potentially bring weapons into school. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, you guys are with me there. JD, man, what a pick. I mean, JD Vance is sharp. He's very sharp, very quick. Kind of like that Vivek style, quick, just like, oh yeah, great. Like you hear him talking, you're like, ooh, good response, brother. At least I do. I like JD, man. I think he could be a future leader for this nation. There's a lot of people that I think could be potential leaders for, the generations to come. JD Vance, definitely one of them for sure. So I hope you enjoyed that clip, but let's move on. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. Let me do that. Guys, the polls, as we started the show talking about a little bit. So we're now hearing that, okay, and it's not like, oh, what? No, obviously our major swing states are what? We've got Pennsylvania, we've got Wisconsin, we've got Michigan, you've got Arizona, you've got Georgia. Let me know if I missed anything in the chat. I mean, those are the big ones, right? The ones that should pretty much determine this election. But now people are saying, well, the way that these numbers might fall, this whole thing could come down to basically Pennsylvania. The winner of Pennsylvania is going to take the whole race. I don't know. Let's watch this clip though, and we'll see what we think.
But let's just say Donald Trump outperforms his polling by just a single point, just 1 point. He gets to 287 electoral votes. Look, he gets Nevada, he gets Arizona like he had before, Georgia, North Carolina. But then this is what we're talking about over and over and over again. Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. That race has been consistently so tight. It's well within a point. Whoever wins Pennsylvania, Jessica, my guess is going to be the next president of the United States. And at this particular point, that state is way too close to call. And that's why this race is way too close to. But let's just say Donald Trump.
This was a test of the media and how well they could prop up such an illegitimate candidate. Somebody that is so far left. Just think about it. Kamala Harris, she didn't even make it to Iowa in 2020, 2019, 2020, whatever you want to call it. She didn't even make it to Iowa. People say she's farther left than Janet Yellen. Or not Janet Yellen, excuse me, Elizabeth Warren. Janet Yellen, secretary. Elizabeth Warren. I mean, think about it. Think about it. On that debate stage, raise your hand if you would eliminate private health care? Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris were the only two to raise their hands. Now she flip-flops. On policy. Okay. You don't know what you're getting. Democrats, that don't do it. Because this is the type of thing. Do you remember how the Democrats had their head up their asses? Like they put their head in the sand after that debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump. They were like so embarrassed. They just couldn't believe that they had been saying this narrative and boom, it all got exposed and blew up in their faces. That'll happen again with Kamala Harris. Just give it a couple of years. All the bad policy, the lackluster approach to governing, it'll all come back to bite her on the ass. Just wait, watch. It will. It absolutely will. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Back night number 1 of the week, live with Chris's World every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch this show on Rumble, on X, now on YouTube as well. Back on YouTube. We weren't on, what happened there? We weren't on YouTube for like a year, but we just went back to YouTube. Support YouTube if you want. Don't. I'd much rather everybody on Rumble or everybody on X. YouTube sucks. It is what it is. But I do appreciate everybody being here. It's a lot of fun. Having y'all in the live chat. It's got the McGroin Army, the McGroin Nation in the live chat. We had Caps McGroin, Pops Locked, Pops McGroin, Lisar, Tick Pickin, E. Kirk. We had Generation Mars and many more in the live chat today. So I really appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot to me that you show up, and I really appreciate it. So we'll be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Live with Chris's World. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. I wish we could have talked about something that wasn't an assassination attempt, but tomorrow should be a fresh news cycle. In fact, tomorrow, actually, I'll be live with Rev from Boiling Point Live, great patriot, Rev from Boiling Point Live. He might be live tonight. Let me check before I get off here. He is. Rev is live actually right now. So here, I'm going to put his link in the chat so everybody can see it. And while we close out here, hop on over to Rev's show. Go support Boiling Point Live. Rev, we got to make sure we're doing that. Patriots supporting other patriots. And here's Rev's show right there in the live chat. So thank you very much, guys. Free Castle, really appreciate it. Lisa, appreciate it. E. Kirk, Caps Lock, Pops McGroin. You guys are like family to me, part of the Chris's World production, and I really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow night, Tuesday, for a fresh episode. And until then, I hope you all have a blessed evening. All right, good night.